We're going live, folks. The electrons are hooking up, which is always so much fun. And I want to make sure that I can actually see as I open up two browsers and watch. So this is Ann Sieg with the e-commerce business school coming at you live. And just want to make sure before I actually formally start, just to see that it's showing up where it needs to show up. Okay, let me hit refresh. And it should be working. It's saying there's a live going on, and that has to be ours. So, hey there.
It must be us.
It must be us. So awesome. Hey, greetings, everybody. This is Ann Sieg, creator and founder of the e-commerce business school. So welcome to the Voice of E-commerce, which is the broadcasting arm of the e-commerce business school. So right now we are in day 3 of our big grand 4-day opening that we're having, which is to announce never before have we had a free membership into the e-commerce business school. So you're going to see this in the post that I just made. It's joinebs.com. That's how you can access your free membership if you're not yet in the e-commerce business school. All right, we have a really awesome interview today with a very, very special lady. Her name is Danita Zanrè, and she is calling in from Italy. Hey, Danita, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Ann. Hope you can hear me okay.
Perfect. Electrons are coming through loud and clear.
All the way across the ocean. There we go.
That's right. All right. We're going to want to find out a little bit about your background, how you got into e-commerce business school, but I want to preface and let everybody know that you are a master trainer and coach within the e-commerce business school. And that's an important distinction because a master trainer is someone who has created a training program within the e-commerce business school, and you have created multiple. That being, of course, most prominently Shop Your Way to Wealth, but you also already, is it Amazon Basics? What is the little mini course?
I think we do call it Amazon Basics, and then some other things regarding things like Inventory Lab and Shopify, and we've done a lot of different things in the e-commerce business school.
So outstanding training. You've also trained at live events, many of them, and we're flying you back on over, coming up here in January real quick. Well, you're actually leaving very shortly for your daughter's wedding, but you'll be here to deliver a workshop in Dallas for our trifecta. So here you are, a master trainer, but that wasn't always the case. So let's find out a little bit about your history, and though please add in that you have been an international speaker. I think that's what's helped so much in your progress, your rapid progress. So tell us about Danita.
Okay. Well, I've had my own business it's been 25 years now. I started my business in 1993, and I was doing consulting for corporations. Primarily, it started off as a network consultant, putting together networks for businesses. And I pretty quickly realized that was a pretty big pond. There were a lot of people in that pond, right? And if I was going to really make a name for myself and be able to do the kind of quality work I wanted to do, I needed to specialize. So I got more specialized, and I specifically specialized on corporate email. And so for the past 25 years, I've had a consulting business helping corporations from little 5-people companies to tens of thousands of people with their corporate email systems. And, I still do that today. I enjoy it. It's a job that I really enjoy. And I have customers who come back to me every couple of years wanting some help with an upgrade or something. So I still do dabble in that a little bit. I enjoy that work, and it's something that I feel like I'm very good at. So I'm not going to just, throw it away if I feel really good at it. But I realized that I had a very flexible life. I could work when I wanted to work. I could, even though I was in Colorado at the time, I could work on projects in China. I could work on projects in Finland. I could work on projects in Italy. I could do a lot of things that I wanted to do, but my husband was pretty much tied to an 8-to-5 job. And so, it was kind of put in a damper on my lifestyle.
Cramping it a little bit.
And he had a really good job he loved too. He was a electrical engineer working on medical devices, and but I just felt like it would be really great if we had work that we could do together that would allow us to both enjoy the lifestyle of being where we want to when we want to be. So I really started looking for something that would allow me to do that. But you have to think, I've been an online person for literally over 25 years. I started out providing technical support on a platform called CompuServe. And the old timers will know what that is. And for young people, I can tell you it was kind of like the early, I wouldn't say it was an early Facebook. It was more like, I would say, an early Reddit. It has that feel to it. Very text-based, a lot of people who, are helping other people with ideas and questions. And it was just generally not so much social, more information sharing. And that's actually how I met my husband. We met on a what would be considered like a Facebook group or a Reddit subreddit. It was a group on a forum on CompuServe, and I ended up importing him to the States. And now he's kind of, reversed the favor, and he's brought me to Italy. So that's worked out really well for us. He is Italian. He's a Scots-Italian, so a dual citizen of the UK and Italy. And as our children started getting older, we started thinking about where could we be? What could we do? And we're still fairly young. We wanted to not wait till we were ready to retire. We wanted to enjoy this life while we can. So I started looking at ways to get him out of that 9-to-5 job, right? And we looked at a number of different things, but I had joined a community that you were in, that you had for entrepreneurs learning how to run our businesses online. And so I had been in your community a couple of years when this e-commerce idea kind of floated by us. Yes. And it just seemed like it was something that there was something good there. And so I paid attention, and it did really change, the way we do our business. My husband now has retired from his 9-to-5 corporate job, and he works with me. And as you said, we live in Italy now, but we're going to be in the States for a month coming up soon. We'll continue to do our business there. We can be gone as much as we want, where we want, because we have the flexibility of a business that can be run largely online.
Yeah. And that's a dream come true, obviously, because that wanting to move to Italy and you come back to the States when you want, like your daughter getting married, for example.
That's right.
Which is wonderful. But this is what so many people aspire to. So what I want to address, help for the benefit of those who are watching, is you've had it twofold. Both you reached success very quickly. I remember your $49,000 a month with local retail arbitrage. And I know that your return on investment is very high, and you are in control of that as you scan your products through that particular method, and your numbers grow, and you've reached these great numbers that allowed you to bring your husband home. So you went through the actual training we had to offer here in our community, and then you rose up and became a certified trainer, so much so that you created our most recent Shop Your Way to Wealth training program. So here's what I'm, first off, is a huge congratulations on your massive success for your own self. Now you are a master trainer and coach, and I don't think there's any other trainer who can match the number of hours logged training and coaching our members. And that's twofold. I need to really acknowledge is you man or woman, the support page, and it's unbelievable, the support that you provide. And I'm always telling people, please say thank you. Please say thank you to Danita, but it truly is remarkable. And then you coach hundreds of our members. Now, I'm so curious to know, what are some of, because we're having people watch who've never done e-commerce, never been an entrepreneur. What are some of the success qualities that you have noted and seen by observing the page, the group? There's a lot to observe. And you're also doing the one-on-one coaching. What are some kind of secret things that you have seen rise up, or maybe not so secret, but could be to others? What are those qualities?
Well, I think the very first one is being accountable to yourself. so many of the people that I coach, if they set goals for themselves and follow through with those goals, or even just admit, I didn't that, I didn't hit that goal, but I'm still working towards that goal. Being accountable to yourself is really important in this business, because face it, we don't have a boss. If we can't be accountable to ourselves, then no one else is going to say, oh, you're not getting that bonus this year, or no, you can't take next week off. We need, for whatever reason. If we don't have a boss to give us, responsibilities and instructions, we have to be accountable to ourselves. And part of that has to do with being willing to be teachable. There are a lot of people in our group who run through this business very fast and very successfully. And they're the people who are paying attention to what those who have already been there are telling them is possible and how to do it, and not always trying to reinvent the wheel, because it's really easy to let our egos get in the way when we feel like, I know how to, I get that. I can do that better. I don't have to go through those steps to get there. And there are always people who are able to find a new way to do something. But I have found, by and large, the people in our group who really get it and have great early success are people who are following the training, hanging out in the Facebook groups, asking questions, answering questions. We mentioned I've been online for years. I started off in 1987 or 1988 on CompuServe because I had questions about how certain things worked in my business. WordPerfect and learning how programs worked. I was a legal secretary, and I was tasked with getting all this work done. So I would go to where people could answer the question. And then when I knew the answer, I answered the question.
Yes.
And that actually is how I became as successful as I am. I built my business on answering questions for other people when I could, asking when I didn't know the answer. And that led me into writing books. As you mentioned, I speak internationally at conferences. I have customers all over the world, both in my traditional business, which I'm, slowly moving away from, but also in this business, because it's really important that not only do I ask questions when I need an answer, but I turn around and answer questions when I know the answer, because that actually confirms it for me and solidifies that knowledge up here.
Right.
I'm able then to validate what I know by helping someone else. And so I see those are the qualities we see in our community that really point to success: being willing to be teachable, following the training, asking questions when you need to, being part of the community, and answering questions and helping other people reach their goals too. And those people, we've seen some of them already this weekend in other interviews. Martha, Candida, Kay, Sarah, people who are really out there willing to help other people and to push their limits as much as they can. So I really feel like those are the kinds of people who succeed the fastest in this business. And the very first part of that is being accountable to yourself and being willing to follow directions and follow the training. The other things fall into place, but those are the two things that you have to have in the beginning or you can't get started.
That is phenomenal. So here's what I want to encourage people, because right now there are people, they're in two camps. One, they're already in e-commerce business school, and if they're not succeeding, they can come back to this interview and stop and re-listen to that segment you just shared. And I was kind of like nodding my head, like preaching sister, right? Because I know between you and I, as caring people with a teacher's heart, it does pain us. I'm going to say it pains us to not see people reach success.
Absolutely.
And yet success leaves clues. You just laid them out very distinctly. If someone truly desires success, all they need to do is follow those steps you just laid out, because success does leave clues. what I find intriguing, because I enjoy reading and watching I call it a people ecosystem is what it is. And what some people think is the secret is, oh, but tell me which products exactly that you're scanning. And that's a very obvious, they're exposing themselves for what they ought to be looking at is what are the success attributes, the qualities of the people who are being successful. Martha's ready to pop 200 grand in local retail arbitrage, having started in February or so. You'll talk to some people who say, well, I couldn't find a single product at the store. Pray tell, what are the products you're selling? And I always want to tell, excuse me, don't tell them what you're selling. These people have to go out and experience it. And most importantly, they have to learn how to grow. And I think for some people that need, that necessity to grow is sometimes something that a lot of people just aren't comfortable moving into that space of growing, because it's not just about a secret tip or strategy.
Right. And we hear that a lot, right? Someone will say, they'll show, I hit this great milestone, and people will say, what's your secret? And you do. Sometimes you just want to say, go back to that training. That's the secret.
That's the secret.
They did what they were told to do. They followed the steps. They're part of, they're becoming part of this ecosystem that we have. And it is frustrating sometimes to have to say, you know what the secret is. The secret is doing it. That's the secret. And so it is very it's very encouraging to see the people who are stepping up and showing that this is possible. It can be a little frustrating when we have to remind other people that there is no big secret. The secret is you have training, you have people who are here to help you. Just get in there and do it. And we've seen a lot of great success in our group. And, I think one of the reasons we've heard from other people too is that it's a community of real people helping each other. It's not just a situation where we sell you a product and now go, good luck with that. We'll talk to you later. I loved Candida. If you're watching this and you haven't watched Candida's interview, you really do need to, because I loved where she talked about, the thought just went out of my head. I loved where she talked about how you encourage people, you celebrate people when they're having great success, but we're also there to encourage you when you're in a bad spot, when your head's in the wrong place, when you're not seeing the results you want. So having the community there to cheer you on when things are good and also pat you on the back when things aren't going so well is something that I really think kind of is a difference in this community than we see in some other training communities.
Yeah. And what I need to acknowledge specifically for you, Danita, because I do the new member orientation every Wednesday night. It's amazing the kudos we get specifically. I'm thinking Shop Your Way to Wealth and book flipping as well, which Brian Cummings created, is the level of detail is so exceptional that the gaps are they're few and far between. And I think that's a really big point of frustration when people come into training and it's so generalized and there's so many gaps. And then the person who doesn't know what they don't know, they're not able to hook between that piece of knowledge and that piece of knowledge. Whereas I'm just letting you know, because we've had people, quite frankly, they have come through other programs where the detail wasn't as clear and step by step. And specifically, because we have more Shop Your Way to Wealth members than anyone else, I hear that over and over and over again, specific to the training. So to me, that tells me you know how to think in a very linear problem-solving mode, what you have done for years, 25 years. So I want to give you kudos and praise on that. And that reflects the teaching aspect of who we are as the e-commerce business school is we really don't want gaps. We want success more than anything. That's the big driver for us. So that's a really big kudos to you, because I just swell up with pride and happiness that I have someone as high quality as you. So
well, thank you. I always tell people sometimes when I'm talking to my coaching clients, I'll say, well, I'm not, like you say, no, we're not going to tell you what products we buy, right? That would be kind of self-defeating, wouldn't it? To everybody
Right.
try to compete with the same product. And I always tell them, I have no secrets in how this business works. I will tell you everything I know about how this business works. I may have secrets. I may have secret products. I may have secret sources, things like that I have found that I hold near and dear to my, close to me. But I'll tell you anything about how it works. I'll give you everything I know about how this business works. So sometimes it just takes a little longer if I have to type it out in a Facebook message. But if you can go back and follow the training, that will really get people to success faster. But we don't have secrets in this business. We teach people how to make their business work.
So let's finish up with a really intriguing story. I just got a private message today, not through the private message, but my own, where a gal who's known me since 2012, been a subscriber of mine, she said, I'm just so amazed at these interviews, Ann, and the demographics of people like me who are being successful. Herself, she said she's 56. I'm like, you're doing good, honey. But what I want to finish with an amazing story, an intergenerational story, if you will. Your mother,
yes,
you taught to do e-commerce, because there's people watching right now. And I think the biggest barrier for people to move forward is, yeah, she can do it, but can I? That encouragement, step into this world. We have a free membership. There's no risk. So tell us about your lovely mother.
Okay. Well, my lovely mother lives in Tennessee. She's in her, I'll say her 70s. We won't get specific. She's in her mid plus 70s. And I taught her how to do local retail arbitrage about 3 years ago. And she took to it like a duck to water. I mean, it was really great. Now, granted, yes, she did have me there, to teach her, but that's one of the things that we also try to emulate in our training, right? Is I can't be there with you like you can be. But, she is someone who, she took to this very quickly. She goes out and she is one of these people that has all of those clues that you need to be watching for, right? She's very consistent. She shops sometimes only one time a week because she's still a busy woman. She's the pastor of a church. She runs a construction company, the front office of a construction company every day still. She's, so 5 days a week, she's usually at work, plus, I think Wednesday or Thursday nights at church and Sunday at church. She really only has Saturdays to do this. She goes out consistently. And as soon as she has that stuff in her car, she's on her way home to get it in a box and out to Amazon to done. She has really done quite well for this business. I'm getting a pop-up that my internet connection is.
Yeah, it's getting a little warbly.
But she has really followed her coach. She's one of my best, I have to say, she's one of my best coaching clients. Thanks, Mom. You make me look good because she really does follow the instructions. But, she also has her own ideas about how things work better now that she has kind of gotten her feet, her stable footing. She now steps out on her own and has new ideas and finds new sources and is always looking for more. And I think that she has really shown that she is a good student and a good teacher, obviously, right? She did some good teaching. She did some good teaching. She's a good teacher and a good student. And so it's certainly something that anybody can do. It's not something that you're, too old for, or too young for. I've also taught my children, how to do some of this. So it's definitely a business that can be intergenerational. And I love when I'm in Tennessee with her. We have so much fun shopping together. And this is another thing that people always say, well, but it's such a, isn't it oversaturated? Is there enough room for everybody? We will walk into the same store we will go our separate ways, and we will end up back at the checkout with 2 overflowing baskets. I wouldn't have had time to find everything she found. She wouldn't have had time to find everything I found. We can work together and have totally separate businesses, find totally separate goods in the same store. And so, no, we don't have any problem with working together. And it's so much fun to be able to go shopping with her. We spend the day out, we go to dinner, we have fun, we come home. I fall down in a heap and she gets her boxes ready to go because she has much more energy than I do. But yes, it's a wonderful thing to be able to, now help my mom have a little extra spending money. I don't think she really does it for the money. I think she does it for the fun. But definitely, it's been a good little side business for her as she's in her retirement years.
So it covers the whole gamut from the 20s all the way through the latter 70s. The success that you and your family have had in e-commerce. We're super grateful for your enormous contributions here at the E-commerce Business School. You have the best attitude, and that I just love working with you, Danita. So I am thrilled to see you coming up in January. And to everyone who's watching, I'm going to encourage you to come back to this interview and listen to the success clues that Danita laid out very clearly. There's not a mystery here. We've removed that. And then by all means, if you're brand new to e-commerce, please, please, please take advantage of our new membership. It's complimentary. JoinEBS.com. All righty. Thank you so much for being here, Danita. Have a blessed rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Anne. I appreciate you so much, and this business and this community. It really means a lot to me to be able to be a participant and a leader in this business, because I get so much out of it, and I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you in January.
Won't be long.
That's right. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye, Danita.
Bye-bye.